Welcome to The Edit, question and answers edition with Laura and Ryan Powell.
Today, we're coming together and answering questions that you've sent in about entrepreneurship, small business, and culture in Wales.
Can I get started with the first question for you?
Let's just go right into it.
What are the most effective ways for small businesses in Wales to engage with local communities and build customer loyalty?
That's a good question. It's a big question. I think definitely partnerships. I think people definitely understate the power of partnerships and collaborations, especially in small businesses and communities. Some examples relate back to our own business, but then talk a bit on a wider scale as well. So, our business, we do an outdoor cinema and we're collaborating all the time. If we didn't collaborate, I definitely think we'd lose like, I would say 50% of our customers. We do deals with local pizza places and we'll be like, oh, we're happy to promote you on our screen if you promote us in your shop. That's a great way of building community. If you go and get pizza locally, you're also looking at what we're doing locally as well, and vice versa. If you come to our cinema, you look at the pizza place. This is an idea of how partnerships can really benefit you. I think what worries people about, oh, I'd love to collaborate, but I haven't got the marketing budget for it. But again, what I just said there, actually something we did for free on our screen, which didn't cost us anything. And they put a poster in their shop. And the expense for us was literally just the posters. It's not like a big budget thing or anything like that. So I think people really understate the power of just like walking in places.
I
Everything's a
think the power
little,
of community as well, isn't it? Just walking into a shop and opening that conversation with somebody. You don't know where it's going to take you. Those
yeah,
conversations can spiral into something really big in the future, but you won't know until you try.
yeah, for sure. A lot of people are like, they're really willing to, if they're actually like, they're really willing to. Not that I've like never had a no or anything like that, but you'll be surprised if you go in there and you're like, look, I'm looking to like attempt to grow my business. We're looking to do these events or these things for the community. You find that people just want to help. They're also running their own businesses and they're in that entrepreneurship game. They're quite empathetic or sympathetic for what you're trying to do. So they're like, okay, how can we help each other? And I think they, in my experience anyway, it don't really get turned around a lot. I think another way of working in like local communities is just ringing in the council. And again, it obviously depends what you do, but a lot of the time, I think people don't actually know how much the council could help. We rang the council for some help advertising locally, and they were really good. The communications department were really up for helping us. Even if they can't directly help you, they'll give you a load of advice. So I
Yeah.
think people have this barrier between them and the council. But if you just pick up the phone, say what you're doing and what you need help with, that's really good. And if they have any community events going on, there's a chance you could even collaborate there. And they're always really open to that. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone for your council and then also work with local businesses. Lastly to that question, just data. If you do any of these, anything for communities or you build up any good partnerships and stuff, like get people's numbers, get people's emails and text people and be like, oh, did you know this is going on? Or did I try and keep up with people for sure. Free Facebook group is always a good way to do it.
Keeping in touch with everyone. So when you start those conversations, it doesn't have to end there. You can maybe meet for coffee a couple of months down the line, or they'll get togethers with the community. They will all benefit. I know it's taking time out of your business, but I think it is an investment of time for you further down the line. You never know what's going to come of it. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. The more people you network with, the better. If you can collaborate with the community, it's going to increase your trust. I think it's like when you know one of the big reasons people will buy off you is trust. That's why big chains do really well because we trust them. The
Yeah.
more you do in your community, the more people trust you, the more revenue will grow in your business. I think that's a winner. I've got a question for you, actually, Laura. This one's from Rachel in Cardigan. She's asked, what are the specific challenges faced by female entrepreneurs in Wales and how can they overcome them? That's a good question.
That's a really good question. And yes, there are lots of female entrepreneurs in Wales. And I think everyone has their own challenges. Some of the common ones, even for male business owners, is the lack of funding to get you started. It's the lack of direction sometimes on where to go to find out certain information. When you start a business and you've never necessarily run a business before, or hit that sort of management level within a role, you don't know the nitty bitty things that go in between the daily work that you do. So everyone provides a service or they sell a product, but they don't necessarily know how to do the paperwork side of things or the finance side of things. It is doing a little bit of research yourself, finding resources within your local areas. I know that, like you said, the local councils do a lot. We've got Business Wales that also provide advisory support, which can really help. Some of the other hurdles I think female entrepreneurs need to overcome or have overcome are maybe confidence gaps. Maybe they don't feel as confident going into the business or believing in what they do. Anyone can have a knockback in life, and it's about building your confidence and knowing that you can deliver to that high standard that you want to. Work-life balance, it that is a lot of what I've built my business on, is a work-life balance. I appreciate that as mums, single mums, and single dads, they don't have a lot of time during the day,
Sure.
and a job is a challenge in itself because they need to be at the school runs, after school clubs, sports clubs, and all that kind of thing. Without flexible working opportunities, it's really difficult for them to achieve all in one day without getting absolutely stressed about it. LCVA, my business that I built, is based on flexible working because I believe that is the way forward for a lot of businesses. Not only do you get the best out of your staff, but they're also happy in their personal lives, which does cross over into their professional lives. With other female entrepreneurs, it's the fear of failure, it's defying social expectations. When I was younger, I had my son when I was 18. I was told I was a teenage mum who would probably live their life on benefits, and I was actually told that. But I took that as a challenge rather than something that was going to stop me. It's defying those social expectations. With women in business, there is some inadequate support systems. There's not a lot out there in terms of maybe the exporting side of things. It's mainly male driven. But
Yeah.
women are coming into this space now, and women are showing what we can do. We are very equal to males in business as well. It is doing a little bit of research, but the one thing that absolutely benefited me in the first year of business was getting out there and networking. It comes back to your point about building relationships with local communities and councils. It's also about building relationships with local businesses, local business owners. You're not just the only person. I know it may feel like that when you first start your business. You may feel quite isolated, but I think when you start going to these networks, whether it's a female networking group or a mixed networking group, just have those conversations. How do I walk into a room full of people that I don't know and tell them what I do, and how do I sell it to them? But
Yeah.
you've got to start somewhere and move outside of your comfort zone to do that. And yeah, I think female and males have a lot of different challenges, but I think if you come together, if you move outside your comfort zone, you're only going to progress further. So yeah, there's quite a lot of challenges for us, but
Yeah,
I think
I think you touched on something really good there about the social expectations. I'm in a partnership, like with my partner, and we're 50-50. They're weird. I'm oblivious to it a lot of the time. I forget that there is a social expectation for male and female that exists. And maybe it's because I just don't see it. I just forget that's a thing. We've got the social expectations flipped, right? She's very hands-on. So if we're doing anything, we're moving equipment, she's the one lifting everything up. What happens with us is that sometimes if we're working with a client, yeah, and it's something that needs to be done like that, so there's a bunch of stock that needs to move, they'll address me instead of her, and she's actually a lot better at it. But they'll look at me. Sometimes what will happen in meetings as well, which only after she pointed it out, I started noticing it a bit more. It still does happen. Unfortunately, sometimes I get addressed rather than the both of us, especially when something's actually in her wheelhouse and not mine. And I
yeah,
was just like, that's mad. That's still going on. It's gotten better, but it still is a hurdle. I have a lot of respect for female entrepreneurs for that because you've got that additional hurdle. And I'm sure that can be quite tricky. I don't know if that's, something like that's ever happened to you, but that's something I
I
saw
think
recently, and I was like, "It's bonkers."
no, definitely. I think you've been out and about and having a conversation with somebody at a networking event, and they say to you, "What do you do?" And you explain, because we're a virtual assistant agency. Some of the stuff we do is quite techy, and in the corporate office, you'd probably see that male area in the office that do all
Yeah,
that kind of. We're equal. We have the same skills as you. We're just a different gender, and I do see some social elements, like you just said, when we're out and about. People do look at you slightly different, but I think that's for us to go out there and prove them wrong,
Yeah.
which is what I do quite a lot. I take things as a challenge and just think outside your comfort zone. I think it's always, when you're in business, it's very easy to stay put in what you do. But I think you've always got to keep pushing yourself a little bit more to progress, because you haven't got a manager on top of you either. You need to find your own motivation. There is a fear of failure, but I think that's with everyone. I think women coming into workplace and doing male dominant jobs are
Yeah.
very much changing the perspective a lot. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. For example, I know a lady who's an electrician, but she walks into a house when she has a new client and they ask her to do something. When they open the door, they take them back because they're like, "Oh, you're not a man." But
Yeah.
she can do just the same thing. It's
Of course.
ridiculous. It's a very challenging world, but I'm sure we'll keep on defying all odds.
But yeah, it's also our job as men to, if we see that behavior, someone picking a male over a female when the female's actually more suited just due to
Yeah.
gender norms, I think it's our job to also change those people's minds, if you know what I mean. So, what you said, like, it is, it's good for women to keep kicking ass at her,
Yeah.
and keep proving wrong. But it's also our job to, if we see the behavior within the office or within the team and stuff, we also need to correct people. I
Yeah.
think half of the problem sometimes, I'm really guilty of it as well. It's like seeing something like that, like someone else do it and not doing anything about it. I feel
Yeah.
like that's definitely something that, as guys, we need to stop doing. Actually, go, what you just did there was wrong. That person's actually better than that person. It
Yeah.
might be weird. We have to change it from the
Exactly.
inside almost, I guess. I got a little deep there.
Yeah. So I've got another question for yourself. It's from Tim, and he's based in Brecon. How can a small business in Wales leverage the tourism sector, especially during peak seasons like summer and major local events?
Cool. I'm glad it's on because events is my wheelhouse. Rub hands together. I could easily go, you should partner up and collaborate, which is what I really want to say. But I was like, well, I answered earlier. One thing to definitely do is, like, the oldest trick in the book is just supply demand, right? I think when you have got like some major events like school holidays for summer or Christmas in winter, FOMO is a great thing to use, fear of missing out. When we do Christmas events, it's only Christmas once a year, isn't it? So it's, when you word any promotional stuff, it's always, this Christmas only, we're doing this, and make that Christmas unique. So you're not only playing with the fact it's winter, you're also playing with the fact that it's only this winter. And if you do an event or some promotion next year, I make each year slightly unique from the last. I think Disney do this really well. I have a lot of Disney photo frames and stuff like that. I've got one from when I was a kid and it says 2012 on the frame. Utilizing stuff like that is, I couldn't not buy that, because I'm like, it is only 2012 and I'm probably only going to Disney once in 2012. So we have to buy it. So it's that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So you kind of, I definitely say, like, one of the best ways to leverage tourism is that, just like, it is always trick in the book. It is supply demand, and if you are doing something that's like limited seating, limited space, whatever you're doing, obviously just like slapping that on there, because sometimes people just forget to do that. I know it sounds really stupid, but it's more impactful. We're doing this thing, and it's this summer only, and there's only so many spaces. That FOMO goes, like, I don't have a rubbish summer. I'll book on, or I'll go see what's going on, and especially leveraging tourism sector. I'm going to sound like a broken record. Go partnerships, like collaborating with hotels is a huge one, or campsites, because their business relies on people staying in certain locations. If
Yeah.
you're doing something and maybe you're around hotels and stuff, working with them is a big win, because you bring people to their area and they need somewhere to stay overnight. Then you can instantly go, what if we did a deal? If they book through us, they get 10% off or whatever it is. That's a brilliant way of collaborating. And just lastly, on that question, something that we absolutely love to do, and I just think it's so simple, and the councils especially love, is using things like Facebook groups or big WhatsApp groups. A good, like, what's on chat is brilliant, especially something that we're in the process of implementing now is like a where kids can eat free in the summer. Doing that research in advance. You join this group, you get free value from us. We'll also advertise what we're doing as well, because that is our market. But we are also giving out like something free value, and it's like, these are the things going on in the summer, and use other stuff. And then other businesses want to show what they've got in the group, essentially giving free value to a bunch of people, and then some of them will convert and actually go see what we're doing and become customers as well. It's like tying in with that first question on community driven stuff.
I
But
was
yeah, I
just about
definitely
to
say,
say, it's going back to the community and shouting about what you do and trying to make those connections, connect the dots, reaching out to your local council, definitely is touching base with the tourism department and getting your name recognized out there as well with different businesses, because they will be talking to people in their network and they'll be like, oh, I've heard of this going on. And it could easily link up to something or a program that they're already planning. And
yeah.
by making those links, it makes your marketing stronger as well. And like you said, Facebook groups, sharing the hell out of things on a Facebook or social media. I think everyone uses it. It's a free tool. Why not just take advantage of it and share as much as you can? I think that's a good thing as well for smaller events, for bigger events, for anything going on during those key times of the year.
Staying in the know as well. Events do come and go. So whether you've got a fun day coming up in your area or any other events, just speaking on the tourism sector, even if you're not in the events game and you run a shop, but there's an event going on near you, that event is going to come and go. Any
Yeah.
way that you can involve yourself in that, even if it's putting flyers around or if it's a lot of people like sponsor and they donate something to it, like raffle prizes. I've got to think people get excited for something, they'll go to these events because it's like fear of missing out. If your business isn't involved, that event will come and go. If you're near a Christmas winter wonderland and you haven't tried to collaborate with that, then when it hits January, it is gone in it. So and
Yeah.
people do buy and interact with the seasons. When it's Christmas, people want to do Christmassy things. If your business isn't also doing Christmassy things, that could be a problem. So it's definitely
Yeah.
just paying attention to what's going on and going, how can I also collaborate, work with them? And I think it's definitely the move. I have a question for you. So it's from Debbie in Cardiff. What role does the Welsh Cooperative Centre
James Centre.
what role does the Welsh Cooperative Centre play in supporting small businesses? And how can entrepreneurs get involved? And I am actually personally interested in this answer because I don't.
Cooperative Centre is now known as Cwmpas. It plays significant role supporting small businesses, particularly cooperatives, social enterprises, employee-owned businesses in Wales. And I've done my research and I do know of them because I actually follow them as well. And they can offer a wide range of support to businesses in Wales. Business support is one of them. They can provide one-to-one business support to help new and existing cooperatives or social enterprises. They've got financial guidance. They can offer advice on options such as grants, loans, crowdfunding, community shares, and that kind of thing. Training and development. I do see a lot of events coming out. And not only are these training and development events that you're going to take something from and you're going to learn something new from there, but that is your networking opportunities as well. So going there, meeting people in the same area of business as you and talking to each other, learning different things from each other and bringing that community together. It is a good thing that they do and they are doing quite a lot of digital social inclusions. So the centre runs projects aimed at digital social inclusions, ensuring that businesses and communities have access to the necessary digital tools that are needed. Social media is free. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that free marketing tool that is available to everybody? And it's learning about different ways on how you can do this. Yes, social media can be a minefield to those that are not confident with it or don't tend to use it on a personal basis. But using this advice, using these sessions or meetings and learning, I think even as an entrepreneur myself, I learn something new nearly every day or every week, business related, because I am always looking for something new to learn. Maybe that's just me personally, but I think there are a lot of us that thrive from learning new things and connecting new dots and how you can develop going forward and how you can grow going forward. Stand still in business.
Yeah.
We're always innovating and trying to find those new things to work with or new people. And the networking opportunities are, I think, these opportunities to businesses, you can't put a price on them. I think having that opportunity, that organization is pulling together people within the same sector, and you've all got your own knowledge and experience. And by collaborating, by sharing them, you're only going to improve your knowledge, but you also build your network. I think that's one of the best things I did when I started my business. I networked the hell out of networking. I wasn't comfortable doing it. I'm quite an introvert and I like staying at home, doing my day job, and that's it. But going out there, meeting these people, not only do you improve on yourself, but you also improve on where to go in business and where are you going to take your business next? What are your future goals? What are your plans? Those really need to be thought about, but at the same time, you're making progress towards them whilst engaging in these opportunities that the Welsh Cooperative Centre, the Compass is putting together for you. Entrepreneurs can get involved with Compass. They can contact them. They can attend the workshops and events. And there is a whole online resources available for people to have a look at. And they
Yeah.
really want out.
Is it any businesses? Like, can you be any size, but like what's and how to get involved? So it's just like any sort of entrepreneur can just message in or do like
Yeah.
email
So
or just,
I'm not an employee.
I know, no, on
I
that
do
commission.
without commission, but they are there, and what they do is just it's just improving more and more every day. More opportunities come in. I think keeping an eye out on their website and on their
Yeah.
socials to see what new is pumping out every week. Take the opportunity if they've got a networking event next week or they've got a workshop that actually does ignite your interest a little bit, then just go.
Yeah.
What's the harm? I think if you don't go, you'll be gutted that you didn't go the next day. So I think, yeah, just take those opportunities that are being provided to us. And I know there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and it's just keeping up to date with them. Social media is the perfect place to do that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, I might have a little look.
Like, go and have a look.
You know, it's something that's
Yeah.
I'm a bit further out from Cardiff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But you
cool.
never know. And even traveling more, if those events are not necessarily on your doorstep, if they
Yeah.
are in Cardiff, travel down because you're going to meet a different group of people each time then. And it's only going to benefit you in the long run. I've got another question for you. This is from Bing from Alabama.
Ooh.
And what are some innovative marketing strategies that have been proven successful for small businesses in Wales?
I want to talk about marketing strategies because when people think of a marketing plan, 9 times out of 10, especially anyone I speak to, or they say Google ads, Facebook ads, it's all digital. Don't get me wrong, I'm big on digital ads. I love tweaking stuff like that. But I think we are sometimes forgetting basic marketing stuff that we could do. And it's actually like coming from the online to the offline, to be honest, especially in Wales, we appreciate that human touch just a bit more. There's still a lot of towns in Wales that would like they'll go to like their local butcher and their local this and their local that, and we still have that. So I think coming from that, also I always say, yeah, okay, online, do Facebook ads, do Google ads, obviously depending on what your business is. But something I've seen quite successful is actually going from online to offline. It could be just as simple as a sofa company once, instead of doing a Google Ads campaign, worked with a local football team. The football team was right next to where the sofa shop was. I talked about putting a banner there with an advert to sell the sofas. Sometimes we narrow mind ourselves and we do the digital, we do Facebook groups and stuff like that. But actually, it was like, why don't we just ask this football team how much it would be to put a sign up? So when parents are watching their children play, their eyes are dotting around. My mum used to take us to football all the time, and she says it's boring. Your eyes will dart, and they will look at the advert. That advert was very successful. I don't remember the exact figure, but I remember it cost like less than £100 to do. I know that much. So that was like a big win. I just think, wow, there are so many ways to do it. But earlier, like putting posters up in shops or leaflets, this stuff is almost too obvious because
Yeah.
everyone, when they go on YouTube and look at like marketing, you'll see like a Facebook ads course and stuff. That means everyone's doing that. So it's actually quite hilarious. You want to jump back and do the offline stuff because if everyone's
Yeah.
doing this, you could do this. And like I said, in Wales, I worked with a sofa company And that was quite successful. They're doing that. And I think, honestly, the offline cannot be understated for us. Even in our events, leaflets work for us. We have a form on our website that people go, how did you hear about us? And it's surprising how many people still pick leaflet with leaflets. Where people go wrong, it's just a general leaflet. And people are like, I don't really care. But headline, offer, deadline is something that we live by. What are we doing? What's the offer that you could only get? And what's the deadline for us to get a leaflet through? Sometimes we even do a quick leaflet run. It ends at the end of that month and it is quick. There's some urgency to a leaflet. It's not just a piece of paper that's just doing your head in because there's
No.
extra waste. Is it actually a bit of value? You're like, oh, we've got this little bit of value. And that's worked for us. We're a Welsh based company. And I do think there's something to it, especially with the older generation. We respect that human touch a lot more. So I would definitely say just some innovative marketing strategies is actually go back to the old way
Yeah.
because everyone's doing the new. So let's go back to the old. And you'll notice like you are more likely to book an accountant if they knocked on your door rather than if you just saw an ad, especially here because it's like you've seen their ad and now they've also knocked on your door. It's that thing in marketing. It's like the 7 touch points. You've got to see someone 7 times to actually buy off them. Adding that offline element is the move.
Our business, we don't do a lot of marketing, and people are quite shocked when I say that because yes, we could do paid ads. Yes, we could join with marketing agencies and do TV ads. We could go big, but we don't. We use social media to its advantage because it's free. We build our network around us, which a conversation doesn't cost anything. A lot of our new clients come in based on referrals from previous clients or within our network. Marketing can be done in so many different ways. The old traditional marketing ways are still as effective. It just depends on what your business is and what you're trying to achieve with the outreach. I agree that we need to still maintain some of the old traditional marketing ways if
What's
it's
some of
going
the
to
huge
benefit
ones?
you.
Like free samples. I read this study, which is there's like a cheese company and they weren't doing so well. And then they just started offering free samples. And it's something ridiculous. Like their profits are up like honestly, oh it was over 100%. I know that, right? I can give you the exact figure. I know it was over 100%. And all because they did a free sample. And there's two things. Like, one, it's trying before you buy it, I actually like the taste of this cheese. Also, the psychology of it. It's awkward to say to someone who's just fed you. You know, I think
Yeah.
I was getting really weary in meetings where I'm offered cake because I try and always turn down stuff, right? Because I'm like, you're gonna make me an offer, and I'm gonna have to eat your cake and say no, and look you dead in the eye, and it's awkward. I know what you're doing, so it is, but like free samples, and again, that's not running an ad or anything like that. Great, loads of videos on that, and then it's like, how can we be creative and do it? Do it. If you are going online, at least try and be creative. I've got one more example where what we did to launch an event is we did a game of whispers, as we called it. That was our campaign. So we got 100 people in a local area. We paid them all to do it. It was only like a fiver each or something like that. It was definitely worth. So we got 100 people and they were saying, oh, I hear there's an outdoor cinema coming to this area. And what was quite cool about that is people were all sharing it. And it became like this game of, oh, I heard it. Where'd you hear that from? That kind of thing. And we built it up. And then we launched an advert in that area. So we had people talking about it and then we launched the advert and then the advert surged in likes. And that was really cool. So if you are going to go online, think, how could I be outside the box? What's something I could do that other people aren't doing? I don't want just something that's, oh, look at this thing and look how much it is and click here. How do we make that a bit more creative?
Yeah.
So I like stuff like that. Very circusy, isn't it?
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
So, which we all need to do sometimes. We need to think outside of our existing remits to be creative and come up with new ideas. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good
Yeah. But
marketing.
I love it. Big fan. I could talk on that all day, but we'll get your next question. This is from Gil and Louise or Lewis. I'm not sure. I think it's Louise. For Cardiff. How can small businesses in Wales utilize social media to reach a broader audience and increase sales? So yeah, it's definitely something
So,
you're passionate on.
definitely based on our conversation today, there are a lot of benefits to your business or organization being on social media. There is a method to the madness behind social media marketing, and you do need to put some thought behind it. I think a lot of people who go into business who are fairly new, who maybe haven't done a whole lot of research around it or have got a lot of knowledge around it will put a post out on social media and hope
Yeah.
that the customers will come flocking in. That's not always the case. And sometimes it can go by and not even be noticed because of the algorithms within the social media tools that are Facebook, Instagram, and that kind of thing. You, there are certainly particular elements that you need to look at and take into consideration when you're using online social media. You need to understand your audiences. You need to be posting content specifically for your audience. You need to be creating engaging content. So you don't want to just put a post out there and it just be seen. You want somebody to click on it. You want somebody to comment. Whether it's you put a poll out alongside your post and you ask them to select an answer on the poll, or
Yeah,
you,
engagement.
yeah, you ask for comments in the comment sector of the post and you have start building those conversations with your followers. I think there's a lot more to it. And yes, it can be a minefield for those that are not confident on social media. We'll have
So
to edit that. I'm sure.
yes.
But it's engaging with your audience and it's and leveraging of current trends as well.
Yeah.
If you see something that's doing the rounds on social and it's continuing to pop up time and time again, think of how can you use that to your benefit as well. And the final point is having a look at your statistics. I'm
Honey,
still there.
that's what you need. Honey.
Looking at your statistics and what's working, what demographics are actually looking at your socials. Are you posting content that is relatable for that age group or that group that lives in a particular area? There are lots of things you can use to leverage it. You can use hashtags as well as trends. You don't want to overkill. So there is a fine line. Even watching a couple of videos on YouTube about social media and learning different ways of how you can be creative with particular interests or particular trends going on at the minute is always definitely worth looking at the picture as a whole.
I
Mm.
think there's like an art and a science. I think that's the way I like to see social media. The art is like what to post, like the creative, like what pictures we put up, or videos, or reels. Classic examples that TikTok come away with me when I do this thing, and
Yeah,
they're really popular at the moment. So that's like the art is what are we going to post? And then I think what we spoke about there, we were actually looking at your data and going, actually looking at the statistics, who is engaging and stuff like that. So the art is what to post, the creative. Once you've got the creative, the partner does the creative. And I look at the statistics and go, oh, actually, men of this age don't care about it. So we should start targeting that. We work together on that, the art with the science of it and the tweaking, influence each other. You start with the art, make some stuff. You look at the science and you go, okay, here's the data. Here's what the data's saying. So she'll go, okay, let's try and make something more like that. And then she'll tweak her side. And then I'll go back to my side and go, that works better, or that didn't work, or we shouldn't have done
yeah,
that. So we'll
yeah,
go
no,
back.
definitely.
I think the mix of the art and the science is like a mantra we live by on social media, and
Yeah,
trends. 100%. Like those TikTok come away with me is doing my head in. I'm seeing them all the time. But they work though. I think they work because they're a bit like vlogs. Like vlogs were really big on YouTube. They're the
yeah.
new vlogs because we are just watching someone do stuff instead of doing it ourselves. It's weird. I don't know why we enjoy that as people. It's just
I
such a
think we're
strange
pretty
thing.
nosy, aren't we?
Oh,
As
yeah.
a human, I think every human being is just nosy, whether you openly admit it or not.
I
You do like to see what's behind a day in the life of, I don't know, a doctor or something. Do you know what I mean?
You have to know, and they just grab you so well. They're just like, "Oh, come on, I do this thing," or it's normally again, loads of like travel ones, which is weird because I definitely barely leave the house. Loads of travel ones, they are really good. They do grab you, and there's a beautiful imagery. Just touching, wrapping up, influencer marketing. I know it's not been a question or anything. It's huge. I don't know if you've ever used it, but I used influencer marketing, and it was incredible. It was so cheap as well. It was like we're in the event game, it's a little different. But even if you're in the product game or the service game, if you give something to them for free, it's cheaper than a Facebook ad. For us, we do cinemas, so we just give them a free ticket, and that's, oh, there we
Yeah.
are. And now it's got in front of thousands and thousands of people. just for them to sit in a chair. I don't know. It is leverage for sure. They did one of the videos, and that was the only tip. Like, yeah, you can sit VIP, just make one of those videos. I'm like, wow, I basically got a video production company or video marketing agency almost for a ticket, which is web ticket was like 20 quid or something like that.
But it
Amazing.
works. It does work for social events and things for sure. And influencing on social media is a whole new ball game for sure. But it's definitely something to look at if you've got that product service you're ready to jet off with. As soon as some people's influencers to market, it could turn their world around overnight. It is something to look at as long as you've got that budget to do. But
So I believe that covers everything for today's show, doesn't it?
if you've got a question on entrepreneurship or you're in the creative sector and need to answer some burning questions, drop us an email at theeditwales@gmail.com.
And we will see you for more next Tuesday.